Hey everybody, welcome back to another eye-opening episode. Tonight, we're diving deep into the world of chickens. Not just the funny ones you see on YouTube doing silly things, but the ones that end up on our dinner plates. And let me tell you, there are a staggering number of them. Like, a lot. More than you can probably imagine. We're talking billions and billions of chickens, far outnumbering the human population on this planet. But here's the thing. Most of these chickens don't live on those charming little farms you might picture. Instead, they're raised in massive industrial facilities designed to maximize production. Imagine a warehouse packed with tens of thousands of birds, all crammed together. That's their entire world from birth to slaughter. This system is incredibly efficient at producing a lot of cheap chicken, but it comes with significant costs. Tonight, we'll dig into the harsh realities of industrial poultry farming. We'll explore the living conditions of these chickens, the environmental impact of these massive operations, and the health concerns that arise from such practices. So buckle up, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. We're about to uncover some truths that might make you think twice about your next chicken dinner. Chickens are fascinating creatures with complex behaviors and social structures. In a natural setting, they form flocks, establish pecking orders, and even communicate with each other through a variety of vocalizations. When given the chance, chickens love to roam, forage for food, and take dust baths to keep their feathers clean and free of parasites. But in industrial settings, these natural behaviors are severely restricted. Chickens are often kept in cages or crowded sheds with little room to move, let alone express their natural behaviors. The environmental impact of these farms is also a major concern. The waste produced by millions of chickens can contaminate water supplies, contribute to air pollution, and create significant ecological imbalances. Additionally, the widespread use of antibiotics in poultry farming has led to the rise of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, posing a serious threat to public health. Fortunately, there are alternatives. Sustainable and organic farming practices offer a more humane and environmentally friendly way to raise chickens. These methods prioritize animal welfare, reduce environmental impact, and produce healthier food. By supporting these practices, we can make a positive difference for the chickens, the environment, and our own health. So next time you're at the grocery store, consider choosing chicken that comes from a source you can feel good about. Look for labels that indicate humane treatment, organic feed, and sustainable farming practices. Your choices can help drive change in the industry. Together, we can create a future where chickens are treated with the respect they deserve, and where our food system is healthier and more sustainable for everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Stay tuned for more insightful episodes, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social media for updates. See you next time. Life for a factory farm chicken is pretty bleak. They're crammed into massive windowless sheds, often standing shoulder to shoulder. These birds are bred to grow so fast, their little legs can barely support their own weight. They never see sunlight, breathe fresh air, or get to do any of the things chickens naturally do, like peck for bugs or take dust baths. It's a sad, short, and stressful existence. The ammonia from their waste makes the air thick and difficult to breathe. This can lead to respiratory problems and infections, not just for the chickens but for the workers too. Speaking of waste, industrial poultry farms produce a mountain of it. These farms are home to thousands, sometimes even millions of chickens, all living in close quarters. With so many birds in one place, the amount of waste generated is staggering. We're talking tons and tons of chicken poop every single day. This isn't just a small pile in the corner, it's a massive, never-ending stream of waste that needs to be managed. The sheer volume of manure produced can be overwhelming, and it poses a significant challenge for farm operators. This waste is often stored in giant, open-air lagoons, releasing a pungent aroma that can travel for miles. These lagoons are essentially large pits filled with liquid manure, and they can cover several acres. The smell is not just unpleasant, it can be downright unbearable for those living nearby. These lagoons can leak or overflow, contaminating groundwater and nearby waterways with harmful bacteria and nitrates. When a lagoon breaches, the consequences can be disastrous. The waste can seep into the soil, reaching underground water sources, or it can flow into rivers and streams, spreading pollution far and wide. This pollution can kill fish, create toxic algae blooms, and even make people sick. The nitrates in the waste can cause oxygen levels in the water to drop, leading to massive fish kills. Toxic algae blooms can produce harmful toxins that affect both aquatic life and humans who come into contact with the water. And it's not just the poop. The farms also generate huge amounts of wastewater from cleaning the sheds and processing the birds. This wastewater contains a mix of feathers, blood, and other organic matter, making it highly polluted. Managing this wastewater is another significant challenge for poultry farms. This wastewater often ends up back in rivers and streams, further polluting our precious water resources. When this contaminated water is discharged into natural waterways, it can have devastating effects on the environment. The pollutants can harm aquatic ecosystems, disrupt the balance of local wildlife, and pose serious health risks to communities that rely on these water sources for drinking and recreation. In conclusion, the waste generated by industrial poultry farms is a significant environmental issue. From the mountains of manure to the polluted wastewater, the impact on our water resources is profound. It's crucial that we find sustainable solutions to manage this waste and protect our environment for future generations. Here's a scary thought. The overuse of antibiotics in poultry farming is contributing to the rise of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. This isn't just a minor issue, it's a looming crisis that could affect us all. Imagine a world where common infections become deadly because the antibiotics we rely on no longer work. This is the reality we could be facing if we don't address the rampant use of antibiotics in industrial farming. Remember those cramped and unsanitary conditions? These environments are not just unpleasant, they are perfect breeding grounds for bacteria. When chickens are packed tightly together, diseases can spread like wildfire. The unsanitary conditions only make things worse, creating a hotbed for harmful bacteria to thrive and multiply. They're basically breeding grounds for disease. The close quarters and poor living conditions mean that if one chicken gets sick, it's only a matter of time before the illness spreads to the entire flock. This is why farmers often resort to using antibiotics as a preventative measure, rather than just a treatment. To keep the chickens alive long enough to reach slaughter weight, farmers often dose them with antibiotics, sometimes even when they're not sick. This practice, known as subtherapeutic dosing, is intended to promote growth and prevent disease. However, it comes with a significant downside. The more we use antibiotics, the more we encourage bacteria to adapt and become resistant. This constant exposure to antibiotics allows bacteria to evolve and develop resistance, making the drugs less effective for both humans and animals. When bacteria become resistant, infections that were once easily treatable can become life-threatening. This is not just a problem for the poultry industry, it's a global health crisis that affects everyone. The World Health Organization has called antibiotic resistance one of the biggest threats to global health. They warn that if we don't take action now, we could be heading towards a post-antibiotic era where minor injuries and common infections could once again kill. This is a dire warning that we cannot afford to ignore. It's a ticking time bomb, and industrial poultry farming is helping to light the fuse. The overuse of antibiotics in these settings is accelerating the development of resistant bacteria, bringing us closer to a future where our medical arsenal is rendered useless. We must take steps to reduce antibiotic use in farming, improve living conditions for animals, and invest in research for alternative treatments. The clock is ticking, and the time to act is now. Section 5. Ethical eating. Okay, let's talk ethics. Cramming tens of thousands of sentient creatures into cramped, filthy sheds where they live short, miserable lives raises some serious moral questions. These chickens are treated like commodities, not living beings. They're denied even the most basic freedoms, and their suffering is immense. It's enough to make you want to swear off chicken nuggets forever. And it's not just the chickens. The workers in these facilities often face dangerous and exploitative conditions themselves. They're exposed to harmful chemicals, respiratory hazards, and high rates of injury. Section 6. The true cost of cheap chicken. We love a good bargain, but that cheap chicken comes at a steep price. We're paying for it with our health, our environment, and our conscience. The environmental costs of industrial poultry farming are staggering, from water pollution to greenhouse gas emissions. The health risks are real, from antibiotic resistance to foodborne illnesses, and the ethical implications are hard to stomach. So, the next time you're at the grocery store, staring at that mountain of cheap chicken, remember that the true cost is much higher than what's printed on the price tag. Section 7. Can we do better? The good news is, there are alternatives to industrial poultry farming. We can choose to support more sustainable and humane practices like pasture-raised or free-range chicken. These systems prioritize animal welfare, environmental stewardship, and worker safety. Yes, these options might cost a bit more, but isn't it worth it to know that your food was raised responsibly? Plus, you'll be supporting farmers who are doing things the right way. Section 8. The power of the consumer. We, the consumers, have the power to change the system. By choosing to buy sustainably raised chicken, we can send a message to the industry that we demand better. We can also vote with our forks by reducing our overall meat consumption. Meatless Mondays, anyone? Even small changes can make a big difference when millions of people make them. Section 9. A better way forward. The industrial poultry industry is a mess, but it doesn't have to be this way. By demanding better from our food system, we can create a future where chickens are treated with respect, our environment is protected, and our health is prioritized. Let's choose a better way forward, one drumstick at a time. And that's the chicken on industrial poultry farming. Until next time, good night.